Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be diving in with the charms and cards here to discover what you have coming in for the next 6 months, as well as reflecting on the past. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel today. We are going to be looking into, like I said, your coming 6 months, as well as sort of checking in on the past 6 months, how they really connect, where you are now, all that jazz. So we're going to be doing that, like I said, with the charms, as well as the cards, and just see what's coming in. So if you're interested in that, do stay tuned. But if you'd like to look even deeper into any of the topics here today, or ones on your career, on your love life, other questions on your mind, definitely feel free to check out these snail mail readings I have and offer through my Linktree, helpful reviews on my Instagram, and more information down below. To send a letter in the mail that's typewritten on a vintage typewriter just for you and is wax sealed closed for your eyes only. I send them to you with so much love, care, and consideration for your question and everything that's really on your mind. So if you're interested in those, definitely feel free to check out all the information down below and helpful reviews over on my Instagram. So with that all said, let's go ahead and look at the piles. So we have 3 different piles here today, all of them with these palm stones. So here in the palm of your hand is, for pile number 1, this piece of black obsidian. And it has this really cool sort of triangle pattern on it as well. So if you're feeling called to this one, that's pile number 1. Here in the palm of your hand for pile number 2 is this more mandala etched palm stone of selenite with these really beautiful white rays. So if you're feeling this one, that is pile number 2. And last but not least, here for pile number 3 in your palm of your hand, we have this piece of labradorite. So if you're feeling called to this one with its beautiful flashes of color, then this is the pile for you, for pile number 3. So before you start heading to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me so you can really invite your intuition to play here at the table. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong ways to choose your piles. You can choose all 3 of them. You can take bits and pieces. You can choose a pile and change your mind. There really are no rules here. So all of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you're interested in those snail mail readings, definitely feel free to send me a Instagram DM or to send me an email, and I'd be happy to do a reading for you. So with that all said, let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of obsidian, then this is the pile for you. So we can look into your mid-year check-in, so we can really see what's going on for you in the next few months, in the next 6 months, but also see what has happened in the past 6 months and how they're all kind of connected. So it's a bit of a reflection and a sort of outlook on the highest energies coming in for you over the next few months. So we're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as only one oracle deck here, being the Song of the Grandmother's Oracle, but as always, I'll have everything listed in the description down below in case you're curious. But do feel free to get yourself settled, get yourself cozy with a nice snack or a nice blanket or whatever you'd like. And we are going to begin by looking into your first 2 cards, right? So we're going to be looking into 2 cards to see, sort of to reflect on the past 6 months for you, but also to look into the future 6 months. So these are going to be like your themes, the highest energies coming forward for you. So let's start with those. So do feel free to send your own energy in, to use your own intuition as we move through this. And this would also be a really good one to have a journal out as well, to write down some keywords or things to keep in mind, both from the past and moving into the future. So let's see a reflection card for you for the past 6 months. What has been the highest energy coming forward for group 1 here for the past 6 months? So as I was trying to put everything back together, this one flipped over. So we're going to take that one, which is Grandmother Oak with Strength. So that is your card for the past 6 months with Oak, Grandmother Oak, Strength, Acorn becomes tree, take root, you hold the blueprint, strong enough to grow. I love this card. Number 27 as well, in case that resonates with any of you. I love how you can see the potential of growth showing up here. So maybe these past 6 months have really been showcasing to you the potential for opportunities, the potential for something to grow, something really big in your life. It feels like something that's going to maybe start small, but is going to kind of take a lot of your time, take a lot of your energy, and maybe it's something that you're going to need a lot of strength to move through. And maybe you've had to use a lot of strength in this past year or past 6 months of this year to really endure something that is maybe difficult to grow through too. That's kind of what I'm getting here from the Strength card, is that it's something that's been quite difficult to grow through, something that isn't necessarily always something we're excited about, or even if we are excited about this growth, it can also still be healing something or difficult, or just be kind of uncomfortable or even awkward. So we're going to be seeing more information on that as we move into the charms, where we're going to kind of split the board to see both sides of it. But let's see what's moving into the future for you for the future 6 months. The main energy coming forward for the future 6 months for group 1 here. What's the main energy? Ooh, Grandmother Prickly Pear Cactus. Super fun to say. Individuality. Embrace your different. Lovable because it's yours. No one else compares. With the number 5. 5 being a number of change, and opportunities to change and to grow. Interesting that you have like the oak, which is very strong and stable and sort of sturdy, and then you get Grandmother Prickly Pear Cactus here, showcasing that maybe you're going, I see the individuality here for sure, right? But I also am getting this feeling when you connect these two of like not only having to grow something, but having to protect that growth, having to guard that growth, to safeguard that growth. Something about that too with the idea of the prickles, right? Needing to also maybe move through the prickly part of growth, needing strength to do that. So as you move into these next couple of months to 6 months, I feel like individuality is going to be really important for you, but also that feeling of having to endure the difficult parts of growth, the difficult parts of a new opportunity coming in, the difficult parts of rooting something and rooting for yourself, and what that means, and how you have to sometimes safeguard your growth or having to protect your growth or your healing. So that's kind of what I'm really getting here for just your cards off the bat. But of course, we're going to look further with the charms here to see what they have to say with the help of the tarot tiles. So we're going to start though with those first. We're going to split this up half and half. So we're going to see any main energies that sort of converge in the middle, but this is going to be about the past 6 months, and this is going to be moving into the coming 6 months. So we're going to see how that all connects. And if you want to, you could even see these for different months, or you could get really specific about it with like quarters of the year if you wanted to, but I'm going to look just specifically as each of the halves. So let's go ahead and pull you some tarot tiles to start you off. So group 1, the past and future 6 months. Okay, interesting. You had one actually fall off of the board here, so I'm going to see if it wants to be here, so it did. You've got a lot showing up here in the second half of the year, so let's go ahead and see what the charms have to say to add a little bit of extra flair and detail to everything we already have here. Okay, let me just see if this one wanted to be there too. We've got quite a few charms. Let me zoom you in so we can have a little look. So just as a reminder, these were your two main cards, with Oak and Strength and the Cactus with Individuality. But how do those two sort of mesh and mingle in the center? We're going to look at that first. So first off, you have the Guiding Star. Whenever I see this, it makes me think of the Star card. But specifically, I'm feeling like guidance is coming through quite deeply. And then the original charm coming forward too. Whenever I see this one, this talks about really honing in on your individuality, on your original ideas. So that individuality that we were seeing earlier with the prickly pear cactus is really coming through and is showcasing again that that is going to be a huge strength for you, letting your original ideas guide you and to be guided by those, creative urges, those weird, maybe twisted turns that you do when it comes to new projects that you bring forth. Or just how you, move throughout the world for the next 6 months is going to be kind of a test for you to really hone and own your individuality, and to maybe even the idea, like I said, with that prickly pear, like maybe you have been protecting yourself from letting your individual ideas come forward for a while. And maybe these next 6 months are actually less about strength in the idea of needing to endure something, but rather to be more vulnerable, to open yourself up, to not feel like you have to be so spiky or have to protect yourself from, really sharing your true ideas, your true creative ideas, your true self, the way that you wish to move throughout the world. So your unique perspective is really guiding you. That's a huge part of your next 6 months and has happened already, as it has blended into both. So as we reflect on the past 6 months, let's go ahead and have a little look here. We've got the Eight of Cups coming forward, the Eight of Cups being a card all about needing to walk away from something, to let something go, to allow yourself to sometimes also endure a difficult situation. And maybe it's something that you've been enduring for a while, right? We've got a lot of cards with this Strength. It feels like at the beginning, like I said, it felt like new ideas, spreading into something really big. But the more that we get into your cards, the more that I'm getting this feeling that like you've had to endure something, endure a difficult situation, maybe having to hide pieces of yourself or hold part of yourself back in order to be liked, to be praised, to not be shamed, to not be judged, to even sometimes just be safe, right, in a difficult situation. And so there's something coming forward here of these past 6 months have been about needing to endure a situation, but feeling like you're on the precipice of a need for change, because you do have the number 5 coming forward here again. Change being a huge part of your start to the year. You also have a few other different things coming in here. We have the Heavy charm. Whenever I see this, it just represents, because it's a very heavy charm, it represents something that's very heavy on your mind. It's been a heavy past 6 months for you because, again, there's this situation that's been emotionally heavy. There's been a lot of turmoil, a lot of, it just feels kind of like you have a weight on your chest and that you've had to hold that weight for a while. You've had to endure it. And I think, again, there's this change number coming forward. So this isn't going to last forever, but it has been definitely prevalent for these first 6 months. You have the number 13 representing death, the Death card. So this also can be, again, that this is about to change, but this also can represent a rebirth needed, which the star card can also talk about rebirth. And it also represents maybe having to move through a difficult situation full of a lot of grief, something that felt really kind of broken or difficult to piece together in your mind or move through or accept. It may have started around like the holidays, or just after the holidays, because we did have that come forward as well. And then you also have the Page of Wands coming in here, which is very different from the rest of your charms. But the Page of Wands is a very inspired card. So there could be just a lot of inspiration on the precipice as we move towards this next 6 months. So it could be that you're starting to feel that change, that flurry of creative ideas, that individual starting to come forward as well. And if you look at these two cards, you can see that this person or figure here is using this walking stick to kind of help them through a difficult situation that feels really heavy. They're like literally dragging all these cups with them, right? But you're not dragging the cups anymore, and you're not holding the walking stick like you have to lean on it with all of your might, but rather you're holding it very proudly and with all of those cups not on your chest anymore. So the fact that you have this sort of entering into these next 6 months is really nice to see. You also have new ideas showing up here as well, which the Page of Wands is all about bringing new, fresh ideas to the table. So something is definitely changing. A rebirth is needed, a weight being lifted, as we move into a more stable time for the next 4 to 6 months. So we have the number 4 coming forward here, but 4 being a number of stability, a number of feeling more comfortable, feeling more safe. And so we have that coming forward, a lot of safety. You also have the stubborn little mouse here. Whenever I see this one, it represents like stubbornness. And then you have that stubbornness showing up here next to the Queen of Cups. And so the Queen of Cups is all about letting their creative ideas flow, letting things flow. And so the fact that you have these two sort of coming up next to each other, very different energies, one super stubborn, sticking their feet into the sand. And then you have the Queen of Cups, which is all about flow. They are literally like the rivers. So the fact that you have these two energies coming together is telling me that you're finding a really nice balance. You even have the balancing card of the Two of Pentacles here. So the fact that you have these cards and these charms coming forward in such a stable energy is telling me that you're finding a better balance within your creative ideas. You're finding a better balance in how to share more of your individual ideas coming forward. There's also this feeling again of like, maybe you're still kind of stubborn about or feeling a little bit about the situation that was the first part of the year, but there is definitely a shift happening here. What do you also have here? You've got the King of Cups as well. Oh my goodness. The fact that you started with an energy that was so like heavy to an energy of the 2 cup cards, the ruling cup cards coming forward with the Queen and the King, tells me that you're really coming out of this place. You're really moving into a few months where you can actually breathe again, that you don't feel like you have to be prickly and safeguard your individual ideas, that you're able to not just endure or survive a situation, but rather live and just be in the moment and really let your emotions and let yourself flow. It's really nice to see. There's so much more balance, so much more stability in these next 6 months. And then you also have the Empress card, and a Empress card is so nice to see. The Empress is all about abundance of new ideas. They're super creative. They're very fertile as well. And whenever I think of the Oak card, it's a very fertile energy, right? Because we're fertile, ready to grow something new into something really big. And so over these next 6 months, this is going to be a really prime time for you to definitely reflect on what has happened in this first part of the year, what was heavy for you and why you may have this shift happening, how you are letting go of the sort of weight that's been on your chest. to find more of this balance, right? It's not just going to click or just come into your lap, but there is definitely going to be something that's shifted here, whether that's in your mindset or again, like something has ended or something has been let go or released. So that's really what I'm seeing here, so that it can give you so much more stability, more balance, more emotional flow and stability. And then you're also going to be able to let more of your ideas and creative inspirations and allowing your individuality, which is also about the Empress, right? Individuality to really shine, and allowing yourself not to feel like you have to be so held back by that weight, by those judgments, by those calls. So that's kind of the energy that I see here for you for the past 6 months moving into the next 6 months. I do hope this has been useful to you and you had a lot of fun or found something that really sparked a little bit for you. Do let me know if you did by giving this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below how it connected or how certain charms really, charmed you. If you did enjoy this video as well and you want to see more, I do pick a card readings every single Monday that you might really enjoy, and I also do lots of other videos on this channel for art magic and grimoire tours, as well as charm casting that you might be really interested in. And if you want to get a snail mail reading where we look even deeper than this and we can go more on an individual level with you outside of the collective, then definitely feel free to check out the snail mail readings that I have down below, where I could do a year ahead reading for you, or we can look into any other question or query on your mind. So with that all said, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of selenite with this mandala, then this is the pile for you as we dive in and discover what the charms have to say, as well as oracle decks to see what you have coming in for the next 6 months, and also to reflect on the past 6 months and how they kind of mesh and mingle in the middle. So like I said, we're going to be doing that with the charms as well as the tarot tiles, and the main deck that we're going to be using here today is the Song of the Grandmothers, which I'm sure you are familiar with. So we're going to be playing around with this one today. I'll have all of this listed in the description in case you're curious or you want to reference it. But do feel free to get your own intuition flowing, to, see what the charms have to say, see what the cards have to say, and use your own intuition as we move through this. Feel free to get yourself some water to get cozy. This is also a really good one to reflect back on and things like that. So feel free to get a journal out, write down keywords, things that really, spark your inspiration or spark your intuition. But to begin, we are going to be pulling 2 different cards. One card to look and reflect on the past 6 months, and then we're going to pull another card to look into the future 6 months and see what those main energies are. This is a collective reading, so if you want to get even deeper on a more individual level, feel free to reach out for a snail mail reading. But in this case, we're just going to be looking at each one for you on a collective level. So for you, group 2, what do you have coming in for, or rather what has come in for the past 6 months? So what is the main energy or theme that has shown up for group 2 within the last 6 months? So you have Grandmother Iguana, separation, nothing truly lost, separation serves you now, grow back what you need. Number 60. 60 being a number of sort of harmony and connection, as well as this sort of spiritual connection is coming forward as well. But the idea of separation, I love the drawing here with the idea that the iguana sort of loses, whenever they lose their tail, right, they can grow it back, which is really nice. Obviously that'd be cool if we could do that too, but it's a really beautiful lesson to see showing up here with separation. There could be literally a separation happening within a family or within a relationship or dynamic in your life. I am getting that feeling, but also with that nothing truly lost and that feeling of a spiritual connection, it could also be that you may be grieving someone, grieving a relationship, grieving a job, grieving a house, grieving something like that. There is this feeling of obviously something separating, something needing to be even let go of. It could even be for a very good reason. It could be very bittersweet, but it's still something that needed to separate, something that just wasn't going to be sustainable, or, just that's how life goes sometimes, feeling to it. So that's what we really have coming in here for your first 6 months, and we'll look into it deeper with the charms, of course. But let's go ahead and see the coming 6 months. So what energy is coming forward in the next 6 months for group 2? Ooh, Grandmother Zebra, confidence. Love that. We love to see that coming forward as your next 6 months, especially coming from a place of separation and then moving into a place of confidence. That's really nice to see. You have the number 11 showing up here as well, which is a wish-making number. Really cool to see. It says here, time to take the stage, uncovered in the spotlight. Show the world your stripes. This is really interesting. If you watched pile 1, as this sort of relates to what pile 1 had coming in as well. And so if you watched both piles, I'd be curious to see the differences and what you noticed. I also really like the positioning of the 2 cards, and the idea that the separation card is showcasing looking literally to the past, like they are looking to the direction of the past, and the zebra is looking to the future, and they're looking to the future with this beautiful sun ray coming forward right on them, but also to showcase optimism and positivity when it comes to your mindset of the next coming 6 months. That there is this confidence, that there is this even false confidence, but confidence nonetheless, to be able to not only stand in the spotlight, but like to stand in a place where you can be hopeful again, stand in a place where you can believe in miracles, believe in magic, believe that things can be good, especially if you've come from a place of grief, despair, bittersweetness, or a feeling of separation, which isn't always the most comfortable feeling. To move into a place where you're looking literally to the sun, looking to a place of optimism, and a place that is much easier and more beautiful to grow. So these are your 2 cards, but we're going to look further, of course. So I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to move into the charms. So we're going to look with the charms, but we're also going to be looking here with the tarot tiles, and we're going to be casting them on this charm mat here to see what you have coming in for what's sort of mixing in the middle, right? So this is kind of like you right now, or the things that are mixing in the middle of the year, right? So how separation and confidence are sort of mixing and intermingling. If this was like a Venn diagram, right? And then on this half of the board, it's going to be anything to do with the first 6 months, and anything on this half is going to be about the coming 6 months. So we'll start first with the tarot tiles and see what they have to say. So let's go ahead and pull these. Okay, so you had one fall over here, so I'm going to go ahead and see where it would like to be. So here we go. All right. But before we really look at these and zoom in on them, we're going to look at the charms to go along with it. So let's see the extra details with the charms here. I also had this one that fell in my lap. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and just move these. I'm not really paying attention to the moons this time. So let's zoom you in so you can see the middle here first. So you didn't really have a ton coming in here in the center. There's one sort of hanging out, but the only one that really feels in the center, and more so in the coming 6 months, is the taking a path less traveled charm, right? I always think of this as like having like a fork in the road, and then this is the path most traveled, and this is the path less traveled. So I feel like you are taking the path the path less traveled. So there could be something coming in that's going to pivot your direction quite soon. Something that maybe a new opportunity coming forward that's going to help you to feel more confident or to change your direction, to help you have a little bit more of a new mindset shift. It feels more about mindset than it is specifically about like a job opportunity or something coming out of the blue in that way. But I do see you changing your mind and going in a way that is a direction that maybe isn't a path less traveled for everyone, but it is for you. So it's one that you're moving into confidently as well and optimistically. So that's really exciting to see. Let's go ahead and look at the first 6 months here as well. You do have a separation coming forward here with one of my old charms here. It's a puzzle piece, and it actually ended up officially breaking. So I find it interesting that came forward and that it fell here on the 10 of Swords, which is quite a despair sort of charm, one that showcases a very difficult situation that we have to endure and go through. So I really feel like you've had to be separated from someone. Maybe it's because you've been literally traveling or been away from someone, or have been possibly like having long distance. It could be, again, grieving someone or grieving something. But regardless, separation is a huge part of your first part of the year for sure, possibly around someone who is a Leo in their sun, moon, or rising. So that's coming forward as well. This is also making me think that this could also come forward again, this energy of separation, or you revisiting it in Leo season coming up here in August into September, July into August. But you also have something else happening up here, so let's have a little look. You have the Page of Wands coming forward. This also came up for Group 1, so there's a lot of similarities coming forward for Group 1, and I find it interesting because this shows like kind of the first part of the year, right? This is kind of like either you see this as the first half of the year or this as the first half of the year. You can kind of see these as like quarters of the year if you want. But either way, whichever way you reflect back on, there's something that is shifting and changing forward as you move forward, rather, because you're throwing caution to the wind. We have the caution to the wind little hat here. This is like a caution hat. And it's like you're throwing caution to the wind. You're moving forward with the moving forward charm of the Rook. And this is like not just moving forward, but moving forward very confidently and very like, you know the way. But what I find is interesting is this is about moving forward, but this is like I said, they're so confident in their move that it kind of feels like this has just been stuck in there, that this kind of feels like where the shift is happening, where I feel like you threw caution to the wind and you're taking a shift, you're going in a different direction, you are moving confidently in a new direction, even though it isn't your typical direction. It's still one that I think that you are either faking confidence with or are just like, who cares? I'm throwing caution to the wind, I'm going for it. So there's something like a really big shift that's happened recently or is just about to happen for you that is sort of leading you and ushering you into the coming part of these next 6 months. So you have a penny showing up here. The penny is feeling like a lucky penny. Again, you had that number 11 show up earlier. So these next 6 months are a really good time to manifest things, to do spell work, to make wishes, that kind of stuff, and really like mean it, whatever you are doing. And maybe planning is a really big part of how to bring a lot of balance into your next 6 months. So you do have the Emperor card as well as the Two of Pentacles showing up here. The Two of Pentacles being a card that is about balance, but it also talks about sometimes getting tripped up on things really easily, and that it can show or throw off your balance really easily. So the fact that you have the Emperor card, which usually represents to me like planning and being very particular about your plans, is really important for you in the next coming months and is going to help you to manifest and bring your wishes and dreams forward. Right? The best way to bring our dreams forward is to honestly plan them sometimes and to make time to plan and get things moving and rolling to find balance. So something around that is showing up here to manifest balance into your life through planning. And then you also have this is so crazy. Group 1 and Group 2 are very similar in a lot of your cards showing up here, but they're showing up a little bit differently. We have the King of Cups next to the sort of statue charm is what I normally call it. It just always looks like a statue. So I do think that you're going to need to make a creative shift, have a really big swing and pivot in your life. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of stuck in the same place, stuck like a statue, right? And the King of Cups is all about flow. It's all about going with the flow and changing direction quite quickly, and confidently moving through that change in direction and following it and seeing and getting curious about it. So I really see you making a really big shift in the next, I don't know, month probably. And then that big shift is going to, that big mindset shift most likely is going to help you to plan and bring forward some new idea, to bring forward some new manifestation, to find more balance in your life, but also to help you find more confidence and optimism as you move through a place of, or rather move from a place of separation into a place that is much more confident and balanced. So really beautiful cards to have coming forward for you, Group 2. I do hope that this has been useful to you and has given you some journaling ideas, or to really give you a little bit more of an insight over your next 6 months, the things that might be coming forward, the things that are most important. If it was, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see more of these mid-year check-ins or other sorts of videos on the channel. And if you do like these pick a card readings, I do new videos every single Monday for pick a card readings, as well as sprinkled in art magic ones and ones on educational videos such as charm casting and the like. But if you would like to see those videos, do feel free to subscribe. And if you're interested in looking into a private reading where we can look even deeper into anything we've talked about here today, or other readings and videos that you've seen, or other topics that you'd like to dive into, definitely feel free to check out these snail mail readings that I have down below in the description, through my link tree, or just ask me questions by sending me a DM or email, and I can, see about answering those. So with that all said, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of labradorite, then this is the pile for you. I love this stone, so good choice. But today we're going to be looking into your charms, into the tarot tiles, into the Song of the Grandmothers, to see what you have coming in for the coming 6 months, but also to reflect on the past 6 months and see how they might be intermingling for you right now as we are in the center of the year. We are going to be seeing that, like I said, through the charms and everything, which I'll have listed in the description down below. And do feel free to get yourself cozy for this one. Use your own intuition, see what comes forward for you as we move through everything. But we are going to get started. Do feel free as well to get yourself cozy with some water, a nice snack, or a journal would be a really good one for this one. So you can write down keywords or to reflect and journal about the past 6 months and what might be coming in the future. This is also a collective reading, so there's obviously going to be things that are very specific to you, and there might also be things that feel very general when it comes to this kind of reading, especially when we're looking into a collective reading, which already makes it quite general. But on top of that, we're looking into several months at a time. So if you want to look more individually each month at a time, or you want to look into other questions or queries that might show up for you as we move through this, definitely feel free to check out the snail mail readings that I offer, as that might be a really good way for you to look even deeper. But first, we're going to pull you 2 different cards here. So we're going to pull one card to really reflect on the main themes and energies of the first 6 months of the year. And then we're going to do the same thing looking forward into the coming 6 months of the year. So let's see. Group 3. It's funny because this one almost came up in Group 1. As they had a whole bunch of cards that fell, so that's why I think my brain thought that. But here for you, Group 3, you have the number 21, in case that shows up for anything for each of you, as well as grandmother pair, timing, every step matters, Pay attention to the sequence. You are in the right phase. I wanted to say phrase. It's kind of interesting because this entire reading is about timing, right? 6 months and 6 months and that whole situation. So it's kind of making me think that just like the first 6 months have been very much about timing, about you may have been very busy, or you may have been like really planning things and working through the sequence, working through each step. But I don't want to overthink this card before we see the second one. So let's go ahead and see if this one will give us any more context with the coming 6 months. What is the main energy or theme for the coming 6 months? Ooh, you also got Grandmother Elephant Community, the number 13 coming forward. Usually it relates to the death card, but I don't really see a huge connection with this one. And it says solid synergy. Ask for and receive support. Help each other grow. Beautiful. Really cool cards to have coming forward. I feel like the last 2 piles have been showcasing like a lot of growth and then like some support or some confidence or other things kind of coming forward. So the idea that yours are feeling kind of like, you know how sometimes we have these huge dips and valleys? I feel like the last two piles have been showing really huge dips and valleys, and yours is feeling just sort of like kind of chill. So I feel like you're having like either a very chill year, or at least these cards are bringing out that chillness. It's also making me think that like you've been a very good planner for the last 6 months. I feel like you've been really on your game, really working through the year in a really good pace. I feel like you're not trying to rush things or trying to get ahead of anything. And I feel like you, like it says, every step matters. That I feel like you're also in a place where you're not trying to skip steps or trying to think about, you know, if I get this done and this done and this done, then I'll have this, and, you know, trying to get ahead of yourself. I feel like you're just like being more in the present, being more mindful, being more in time and in step with yourself and your goals and your dreams and where you want to go, are more in step with the opportunities that are kind of coming forth to you. It just really feels like you're literally in step with life, right? Sometimes we feel out of step, and I feel like you are in step. And so that's really kind of what I'm seeing here from the first 6 months, and I feel like that's going to continue as we move forward. It's not really showcasing any indication why that wouldn't. Other than the fact that you do have that number 13. I just noticed that again. And I said that I wasn't really feeling that, but the longer that I look at this, the more it's coming forward. And so the fact that you have that ask for and receive support, it could be that you might be finding yourself actually a little bit out of step as we move forward. And it may not even be you. I'm also getting this, I'm kind of like looking at this little elephant in the back, and it kind of feels like you're kind of in step, but something's going to come in that's not necessarily going to take you out of step with life or kind of like throw a huge wrench into your plans or anything. But I feel like someone else that's very close to you, and is someone who really makes up a good portion of your day, or is someone that you really talk to a lot or really communicate with a lot or have a lot of support to give towards, is going to need your help, right? I feel like you are going to want to give support or give some help to someone over these next 6 months. It's going to really kind of change a little bit of your direction, or really need your assistance and your community and your support. So that's what I'm really getting here just from these first 2 cards, but of course the charms are going to give us a lot more. So let me go ahead and actually I'm going to go ahead and put your thing back over there, and I'll put these in here. But we're going to go ahead and see what you have coming in for more of the details with the charms. So we're going to see first with the tarot tiles, but how we're going to sort of divvy this up today is we're going to ignore the moons, and anything that falls here in the center is going to be sort of, if you think of this as a Venn diagram, this is going to be sort of you right now. This is sort of the stuff that's coming forward for you right now, or are mixing between the first 6 months and the coming 6 months. So this part of the board, if you split this in half, is going to be showcasing the first 6 months and reflecting back, and then the other side is going to be showcasing more about the coming 6 months. So let's go ahead and mix these up. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to ignore the moon, so I'm just going to move these kind of into place here and see what there is going on. But before we really dive into the cards, let's get some added context with the charms. So feel free to, mix your own energy in here. Okay, so let's have a little look. So we're going to start here in the center. Interestingly, like I said, that number 13 was coming forward a lot for you. And it felt like there was going to be this big shift or change to your step that's going to throw you a little bit out of time and is going to be related to someone else in your life. And the fact that you had the not only the death card coming forward here, which is again related to the number 13, but also the busy card of the 8 of Wands is just telling me that someone in your life is just really going to need your support. And it doesn't necessarily mean like a medical thing or something related to like death or something, but it could just generally mean that there's someone in your life who's possibly grieving someone. There could be someone in your life who is grieving a situation in which you're going to need to it's going to sweep up into your life, and you're going to get swept up in sort of helping to support them or helping to support a community around something related to grief, related to rebirth, related to having to let something go and release it. So there's something showing up there where that's really what is coming forward, and it's possibly coming forward to you very soon as that's coming forward in the center. But let's go ahead and look and reflect back on the last 6 months here. So I'm just gonna kind of move everything into frame. What I'm seeing here is you definitely being in step. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, who is very sure and assured and very grounded. And like I said, I felt like that timing card was showcasing. Sorry, I had something in my throat, but it's showcasing that you are in step with, being mindful and being present and being in the moment. And I really see that for you when it comes to these past 6 months, especially since you have that like frozen heart charm showing up here, which represents sometimes someone being cold-hearted. But in this case, it's making me think too that you're like cherishing memories, ones you want to like hold on to that have been in the present moment, something that you're like, trying to freeze it into your heart, trying to keep it close. So I really feel like really cherished memories, really important memories have been happening. Maybe that's the reason why you've been wanting to be so in the moment, wanting to be so present, especially with that timing coming forward as well, with the long journey charm coming forward. It showcases too that there could have been a very long journey or a long term project or process or support even that you've been giving to someone within these first 6 months that have been, memories to cherish and a time that you are very alive in, if that makes sense. And then you also have the Neptune charm. Whenever I see this one, it represents I always feel like it feels like you're like diving deep into something, diving deep into an emotional situation. So I feel like, again, these first 6 months have been maybe more emotionally heavy, or ones that again are important enough to like create cherished memories for. There's something about that where it feels like you're really taking something in, diving deep into it. And then you have the Magician card coming forward here too. The Magician being about kind of, again, that feeling of being in step with the universe, being in step with life and not feeling out of step. And so that's kind of just reiterating that. As for the coming 6 months, you have a couple of other things coming forward. You have the Insecure charm showing up here. Sorry, my dog hair and other things coming forward here, but you have the Insecure charm showing up here, as well as a couple of other things. We've got like the Nine of Cups showing up here, but it's reversed. So the Nine of Cups usually represents being very fulfilled, feeling very centered, right? Feeling in step with the universe, feeling really like you can make anything happen. And the fact that you have it reversed is telling me that you're feeling maybe a bit more anxious, a bit more nervous, a bit more less secure, a little bit more out of step. And you have that coming in related to someone, again, who has kind of like fallen down on their luck. Whenever I see the pawn, it represents a person, and you have that showing up here. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are this person who is feeling kind of down on their luck or feeling like everything is turned upside down on them. But someone in your life, like I said, who's in your community is going to really need your help, because they're feeling very much like their life is just turned upside down. And you may be the one, again, that needs that support. I'm not saying that it couldn't be you, but it definitely feels like it's someone else. You also have that, again, turning around. You have something, it keeps feeling like something is time, like literally time is turning around. When I see this, it makes me think of like an hourglass or a time turner or something like that, right? It feels like all of a sudden something has shifted and turned upside down, and the sand is now moving the other way. Other things you have coming forward here, you have the Devil card next to a charm that I also associate a lot of the time with the devil, because the devil represents rituals and habits that kind of come into our lives, and even mindsets sometimes that we kind of get stuck in a cycle with. Right? Sometimes they're ones that we started this habit because it was going to be useful to us, but we've outgrown them, or we need to change them or tweak them. And I feel like you are in a situation where you're really having to, again, change something. You're having to break the cycle. You're having to shift something, shift direction, shift your sort of habits and daily rituals towards, building community and giving support to someone else, as that's coming forward here. When I think of the arrowhead, right, it's talking about shifting a trajectory. And so I feel like where you've been very much focused on being in the moment, working on your own things these first 6 months, the coming 6 months are more about helping someone else out, being, sorry, I realized I had it kind of close, being there for someone, and that being maybe something you're a little insecure about, feeling maybe a little like nervous about, but I feel like how you're more capable than you think, or more than you think to move through this situation. I think just making sure to check up on friends, check up on family with these next coming months are going to be really important for you, and it's going to be really impactful on how much time and commitment that you're going to be putting in towards certain relationships in your life as you support them, and they may be supporting you as well. So that's kind of everything that I've really got coming in for you for the next 6 months. I do hope that this has been useful and helpful for you. I know it kind of feels a little ominous in the coming 6 months, but I really do feel like it's, again, not specifically related to you, but I think it's just related to how much time it's going to take into your life and how much of a commitment it's going to be to kind of look after, or to change your trajectory, to change your focus towards them. So that's kind of everything that I really have coming forward. Like I said, if you did enjoy this reading and if you got something out of it, do be sure to give this video a like, and let me know, as always, in the comments down below how it resonated. I feel like you had a very interesting pile, so I'd really love to hear your thoughts as we move into these next 6 months. Even checking back in would be cool. And if you're interested in more pick a card readings, definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new readings every single Monday, and I also sprinkle in ones for art magic, charm casting, and grimoire tours. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to look even deeper into anything that we've talked about here, or you want to check in a few months, then definitely feel free to check out these snail mail readings I mentioned earlier, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter just for you, and is about any situation, topic, or question that's on your mind. So feel free to check those out down below on my Instagram. Helpful reviews are over there as well, and through my link tree. But thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.